Hello, you wonderful people, and welcome to another episode of Crime Centric. This being a show about crime dramas that I watch. For today's episode, I'm going to talk about the latest episode of Big Sky. A lot of really interesting things went down in this episode, so let's break it down. Well, first and foremost, we're picking up in the aftermath of the last episode. I was wondering, are they going to make it so that something didn't happen? Ronald might still be there. It's like, nope, it is nail in the coffin. I didn't know if they were going to try and twist it around and be like, oh, is there going to be... It's like, nope, he's straight up dead. Nope, the end of the Ron Perlman saga is done. So, obviously, Cassie got what she needed, but once again, it doesn't bring back her dad. Her dad's still gone. It doesn't fill that hole in her, revenge was what was driving her. Now she just wants to go home, so what happens next? Yes, Ronald's the one that killed your dad, but there's still a larger party at play here, the whole Milton situation. Obviously, Lindor is like, where's Wolf? He's getting transported by another ambulance. I'm like, that's not good. And lo and behold, it's not. Milton sent people because it's like, cool, where's Scarlett and her daughter? I'm like, oh, cool. So Scarlett's super alive, and that might turn into an issue later on. It's like a never-ending cycle because Scarlett might go a little like, oh my God, Ronald's gone. I can't believe it. Now I need to get revenge for him. Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she just determines I got to disappear. I was so close to dying. I was so close to leaving my little girl alone. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to, I am a good mother, and that's what I'm gonna be. I didn't even think about that last episode either. Like, he makes the whole argument about being he's like, I was a good boy, and Scarlett would make the same argument about herself being like, oh, I'm a good mother. So I'm curious to see where that goes. But the moment Wolf, it's like, yeah, you would have survived because that gunshot missed all your vital organs and you end up killing Wolf. It's like, of course you're going to die. You know too much. You also kind of screwed up. You're the one that made this deal, made promises that you couldn't keep. So can't trust you not to talk, especially because you led them to Ronald. And yeah, of course, you were dangling all this information over them, and you, of course, weren't going to be able to give it to Lindor and Cassie. So that's done. So the secrets die with Ronald but Ronald didn't know too much anyway. The secrets were always Rick and Wolf's to keep. They were never Ronald's to really know, so it doesn't really matter. But I will say, I somewhat called it. He died in an ambulance. It's not a hospital. I'll take it. Close enough. I was like, close enough. I'm sure it was actually a real ambulance too, so I'll still count it as close enough. Not, like I said, not the same as dying in the hospital, but I got it close enough that I'll take the win. Regardless. So, that's done. But, obviously, the next part of this, once again, how much we'll, fill into this whole Milton thing, it's that's still, a larger thing that has to be dealt with. The Bhullars are, the main focus going forward right now, so, just everything in the back half of the first season kind of delved away from the Ronald stuff, and then it circled back closer at the end. So I'm sure there's kind of a similar thing where it's all this Milton stuff will circle back around, but the Bhullars are the first in immediate danger right now. So sadly, Poppernick as well as two deputies ended up dying because they went to Bob's place and it was tripped. I'm like, why would you... I get it, but also it's oh, you need to check this out, and it's just two deputies, busting Poppernick's balls, but I'm like, why would you even do that? But Jenny noticed, some of the stuff around. She's like, all right, let's get out of here, guys, because she felt a little uneasy, because I was thinking, either he'd set up a bomb here, or he's got a bomb on him, and sadly, it got triggered. Luckily, Jenny was able to get Poppernick out of the way. He still got pretty banged up. And at the end of the day, he does thank her, though. He does warn her, I'm supposed to have your back. I don't want you out there alone. You need someone to have your back. The only person she can really trust right now is Cassie. But it's well, Cassie's in no condition right now after everything. Plus, Cassie's not officially a cop either. So it's right, Poppernick's are so she's kind of on her own right now. But it's also, even Poppernick's can I give you some advice? He's also I don't even trust Travis to have your back. I would rather you having Travis watch your back is worse than you having no one watch your back. So just keep an eye on him. And she's noted. And she has noticed for a while, something ain't right with Travis. And even when Walt talks to him later on, and Jenny's what are you thinking? And he's I'm thinking you don't trust him either. There's just something. his behavior, because also this all ties into like Bob, how Bob ended up stealing a shipment from the Bowlers. Luckily, Tanya walked away alive, but him stealing a shipment, but because Jenny, it didn't make any sense. It's like, right, he's got a bag full of money, which he didn't, because Travis turned that over to Ren, which she was super happy about. Which I'm like, I think there's a part of me that's like, Travis is no good for Jenny, but I almost felt like there was something between him and Ren. If the circumstances were different, there'd be kind of a cute thing going on between them. There's kind of like this, ooh, will they, won't they air about it, even though it's like, no, he's trying to destroy your family secretly. I guess because he's got that, it's that perfect match. Bad boy meets bad girl. It's like opposites are supposed to attract, but somehow in this regard, similar kind of attract. But to be fair, they are also opposite because he actually is a cop. Granted, he is super fast and loose with it. Your stereotypical loose cannon to some extent, but it's a personal vendetta. This is revenge. So, but regardless, Bob took the shipment. Especially poor, what was his name, Jameson, that driver, talking all big and stuff. Tanya's, don't worry, just needs to feel like he's the tough guy or whatever. The moment, I even thought was sweet, Donna was like, do you want me to go with you? And Tanya's like, no, I'm good. I was like, that's sweet. Especially later on, he's giving her advice like, oh, you should tell Ren, to like, you know, this could end up with you being dead. And Tanya's like, wait, what? It's like, what do you expect? Like, you kind of screwed up majorly. It kind of wasn't your fault, but also you didn't do anything to stop the guy. And Don was like, if I was there, I would stop them. That's what the line was. It's like, oh, you learn from your mistakes. There'll be a next time. Well, if there's a next time. And she was like, what? So Dono was there to ease like Ren's tensions and being like, don't worry, we will fix this. So they ultimately ended up finding Bob because Travis got to, well, not Travis, Ren and Jag's dad got to Dietrich. It's like, no, we're not equals. We're not. He's like, we had a good relationship. You could almost tell, like, almost like he had this air about him, their dad, when Dietrich said that, almost like, what? We have no relationship. No. I do my thing. You are a cog in the machine. You benefit from me, and I benefit from you. There's no friendship here. Don't get that twisted. Jag, handle this. It's like, what? Handle it. No, don't leave it to your bodyguard to do it. Handle it yourself. I want you to get your hands dirty. At first I was like, he's like, this is how both of you walk away from this. I was like, oh, you're not having Jag just straight up shoot and kill Dietrich. He's like, because he wanted Dietrich to prove himself useful in the future. So Jag landed some blows on him. I was like, all right, that's enough. And he's like, I will tell you when it's enough. And ends up making Jag hit him over and over again. It's like, either you bring him to the floor or I get home due to bring you to the floor. The fact is his father would threaten him like that. It sucks. And that's what really shakes Jag, because all he's ever done is what his father's wanted him to do. And it kind of shook him up a little bit to be like, I guess it's not just that what your dad had you to do. Because it's like, makes you wonder, has his dad ever gotten his hands dirty? You'd assume so. I guess you can't not be where you are without directly getting your hands dirty at some point in time. It's just, I believe it's all part of, oh, I'm trying to make you grow. I'm still under the impression their dad is sick and he wants to prepare them. So it is a tough love thing of, I need you to get your shit together. I need you to be tougher. I need you to rule with an iron fist. I need you to be more like me. I need both you and your sister to be more like me. He sees Ren as a little bit more like him, but I think there's aspects of Jag that it's like, this guy has put your sister in danger, disrespected her. I need you to step up and do what it's necessary. But it's also the notion of knowing your dad would have had you beaten up and brought to the floor, which is kind of sad and very abusive that you got that type of relationship. But when he talks to Ren later on, he's like, do not ask Dad any questions, just let it go. Just leave it all alone. Which is so heartbreaking, because last episode and this episode, they're still having that more brother and sister relationship. He's like, look at us. Look at us having this relationship. And he makes a sports reference. I'm not the sports guy. Especially, I know the teeniest speck of sports stuff. just not a sports dude. But especially I know nothing about Canadian sports. And I love that he's referencing something that's like, how do you not know something like this? You're a Canadian, and that leads into this whole back and forth between them, which I think is super adorable. I did like the fake out with Dietrich where he made it clear. He was like, I'm tired of people telling me what I'm going to, what they want me to do. So he tells Bob, like, right, let's sell some drugs. But he ended up selling them because he didn't want to get on Mr. Bhullar's bad side. So yeah, I'm a work with him because it benefits me, because if he finds out, the guy's going to have me killed. So it's a self-preservation thing. Plus, Bob, to be fair, Bob threatened you anyway, so it's like, no, I'm not good with you. I'd rather sell you out if it means saving my hide in the long run. I can't always work with you, Bob, because you're too fast and loose and you draw too much attention. Plus, he's already got, I'm glad jumping ahead, he's dead. I'm glad, because I'm like, not only did you kill 2 deputies, you also killed T-Lock. Killing T-Lock was enough to be like, hey, you're on my shit list. But also, you draw too much attention. Like, people are already looking for you. That was also the thing too. Like, Walt had said to Travis, don't you have enough to at least get the Bowlers out of Montana? And he's like, no, they'll stay here as long as they need to. Yeah, like, I want this case to be open. It's like, no, he's not worried about a case. He's not trying to bring down their dad. He's trying to kill him. He's trying to get close enough that, I don't know, maybe there is some part of him that is trying to handle it legally. I just feel like he just go about it because he's trying to get close enough where no one else is around so he can put a bullet in himself. Like, so that he can still come out of this alive. Maybe he is still trying to arrest him. I don't know. It's just that Travis hasn't handled things the best way because he doesn't care about anything else. We find out, like, obviously there's another lady in his life, potentially, if she's still alive, and it makes you feel like, was there anything ever real between you and Jenny? I'm sure she's going to even start questioning that soon enough, well, if not now, and it makes you wonder, was she always just a means to an end to him? And I'm sure she's going to start thinking those elements as well. Because it turns out he turned one of their father's mistresses and she disappeared. So the impression is that he might have found out and had her killed. That's what Travis is trying to do. It's like, but yeah, because even his handler's like, no, he's trying to do more to just take him down. It's like, right, you're waiting for the opportunity to kill him. Because it could just as easily been, because I guess it's also right. Just because even if you had the chance to pull a gun on him, there's no guarantee you'll be able to kill him fast enough that no one else around him won't kill you before then. Because I don't think Travis is necessarily at the point where he's like, I'm ready to die if it means killing you. He'll probably get to that point at some point in this season, but for right now, he might not be in that mindset. Maybe he is, because Jenny does finally sit down and talks to his handler, because Travis hasn't really contacted her in a while either. Granted, she knows enough to know that they're both sleeping together, so she might be saying that Jenny might be a little bit more amendable to him wanting to get revenge for his partner. She knows better than anyone, obviously. When it's like, yeah, your partner gets killed or hurt, of course. And even the notion of you're undercover, you don't like the suits getting in your way, so it's that type of thing. Just let me do my thing. I'm the one actually out in the field. You're the one behind the desk, like filing reports and stuff. It's kind of the dynamic that kind of gets talked about there. I kind of figured Bob still had that like card to play about, like, right, I know that Travis is a cop. I'm surprised. I guess he couldn't. I was surprised Travis didn't just play into yeah, I am a cop. I'm a dirty cop. I knew if I told you, you wouldn't be so receptive of it, but it's like, dirty cop or no cop, you're still a cop. That would have rubbed them the wrong way. I figured you could have, they already had to, Harvey, so it's not like they're above working with dirty cops, but still. At this point, if you had presented yourself as a dirty cop first and foremost, then it would be a different conversation. But you revealing it now, this late in the game, after Ren stuck her neck out for you, of course it's going to not be well received, and you'd still end up dead. So he had to do what he had to do. But I love that they were originally going to go Breaking Bad style, because I love Bob's like, oh, so you're going to torture me? And Dono's like, oh no, we're just going to kill you and toss your body in this tub of acid. Actually, it was her idea, and Tanya's like, yeah, it's better than digging a hole, plus it's better on his back. And then Dono's almost like, yeah, thanks. I was like, that's, once this Tanya thing is wild, just, it continues to get wilder, especially because you and Dono, even Ren saying, oh, you might be asking yourself before you die, are they in love? And they kind of look so bashful around each other after she said that. Because I wasn't really 100% sure what Ren and Dono's relationship was, but I guess it's more master and servant type of situation. So they're just like, you know, they have like a really weird and good friendship, I think is how that happened. Like, that's just going to get allocated to. Once again, I hope Ren walks out of this season alive. Her and Dono get to walk away from this, but probably not. I think the entire family is going to end up dead. Wouldn't be the first family situation that ends up pretty dire in this show, you know, so. But it's like, right, we just haven't decided whether or not to cut your body into pieces or just throw your whole body in there. But Bob sells out Travis, and he's so like, oh, I got this in the bag. It's like, oh, you can't trust Bob. He's a sociopath. He say anything to survive. And Travis is like, if I was a cop, would I do this? And stabs Bob in the neck. You're a very unhinged cop, but yeah, you're also trying to sell it. So it works out in the end. So Bob's dead. He kind of got what was coming to him. Some other elements that trickled out in this episode, obviously all the kids reunited, and it's like, yeah, a lot of them wishing they, you know, Harper's like, right, if I hadn't thrown that rock, if I hadn't made that wish on that rock about something more exciting happening, Max is like, if I had never given you that rock. Bridger's like, if I had never taken it back. Max is like, I kind of did nothing wrong. It's like, except for being the driver. So he's like, they're getting sent off to boarding school. He's like, I'll find some hot girls. I mean, he's like, not like you guys aren't hot. I mean, you're not girls. You're more like full-grown women, and you're the hottest I've ever seen in Madison. It's like, Bridger, what is wrong with you, dude? I love it. And them kind of hugging it out at the end was really sweet. So things aren't going to be the same. It's like, maybe we'll get to see each other during the summer while they're away. I guess it's their parents' way of getting them out of town for a while, plus kind of putting them back on the right path after everything that went down. So it's almost like the siblings from the first season, Grace and Danielle. Danielle or Daniela? I always switch up those names because there's so many things where I'm watching where it's like a Danielle and then something else is a Daniela. It might have been Danielle, but right, they disappeared like after their story resolved. Like they weren't in the rest of the season, so I guess like maybe this is the last time we see any of the kids. Maybe their part in the story's done because Ren and them aren't going to come after them anymore. I mean, they're not gonna, well, they've already talked and it's already been resolved, so I don't see that happening. But if there is, it'll be like a Harper and Madison. I mean, it'll be a Harper and Max thing. Madison and Bridger, this will probably be like the last time we potentially see them this season. So it was kind of a nice little full circle closure to some extent for their story. So we'll see if there's going to be anything else with it, with everything being as it is. Just, I mean, it's going to be pretty hard moving forward with all the terrible stuff that's happened, the death that's kind of followed. Once again, that's kind of all on you because you kind of jump-started this series of events, but we'll see. Other than that, there is a little bit more about the Alicia thing. Jag and Ren are still looking into her. Ren has a sit-down with her. It's like, right, you want to know something? Ask. Like, I want to know everything. It's like, it doesn't work like that. You have to talk to me. Why is Dad pulling out of Canada? What's going down? It's like, those are conversations you should have with your father. Just saying that she was an accountant, and then like her sparks started flying between her and their dad. Even later on, when they're eating like a burger or something, it's like, oh yeah, it's bison meat. I'd rather you not have any like red meat at all, but he's like, I've got to have some pleasures in life other than you. I was like, that's got to be weird, especially Jag. This is after he had to beat up Dietrich for his dad, so it makes him feel weird, and Ren's probably like, Why are you doing that right in front of us, Dad? That's disgusting. That's gross. And she keeps asking her dad why is he doing what he's doing, because it's right. I've been asking us to pull out of Canada for a while, and just all of a sudden now you're doing it. So yeah, because this is your idea. It's great, right? So why are you fighting me so much? But it's just something you're not telling us. And I'm curious what that is. Is there trouble in Canada? I'm still sticking with him being sick, but we'll see whether there's layers to that, like other extenuating circumstances, and where Alicia plays, what role she plays in all of this, and also the extenuating circumstances. I guess maybe they don't know about like his mistress. Maybe they don't know about that element, and he does. So maybe that plays a role in why he's like, yeah, we gotta pull up shop. Because that's also the thing of like, why would he know Travis? I guess maybe like he's seen Travis with his mistress, and maybe that's why he felt like Travis seemed familiar. I don't know. We'll see. A lot of interesting developments. We'll ultimately have to wait and see where all of this ends up taking us going forward into the next episode. But really, that's all I'm going to talk about. Till the next time we meet, be happy, be safe, live life to the fullest, and enjoy it. Good day and goodbye.